And then have you already hit record on the recorder?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay. I just did too. Perfect. All right. 263. Okay. And yeah, like I said, I know we have a couple voicemails.
Okay.
So in 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? On today's episode of the hashtag Blackout podcast, it's one primate's favorite day of the year. That, some voicemails, and more on today's episode of the hashtag Blackout podcast. I sort of got lost right there for a second. All right. Pew, 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 pew. Okay. What's up? Welcome back, and welcome back again to episode 263 of the hashtag Blackout podcast. I am the spicy one. Up in Utah, they call jalapeno J.
I'm just a plain on-season J. Not that on-season, but yeah.
Slightly less.
I'm seasoned.
Slightly less.
Seasoned.
You're seasoned with cayenne to start your life. You're straight up seasoned with cayenne.
That is correct.
That is correct. Well, hey, welcome back to episode 263 of the hashtag Blackout podcast. Once again, let's see. So, Jay, I know we've been gone for a couple weeks, so I apologize because I was out on a work trip, visiting Cali, went to SneakerCon, saw my family that's down there.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a fun little trip. But on a separate note, I want to recognize, one of the primates' favorite days in the history of days. Today is National Gorilla Day. So with that,
shout out to Harambe.
Shout out. So with that, I want to know, who is your favorite gorilla? What's up, kid? Flashing lights. Who's your favorite gorilla of all time?
King Kong.
Dang.
That's
a good one. That's a good one. Let's see here. So for me, Magilla Gorilla, the cartoon was great.
True. Magilla Gorilla's cool.
But King Kong is definitely I would say overall my favorite gorilla of all time, because I love those movies. But I would say a gorilla that gave me a reason to stop and pause and really think about the plight of gorillas was definitely Harambe. I mean, imagine just being like a gorilla, just hanging out in your old like zoo habitat, eating bamboo and like, climbing trees and chilling and stuff. And then like this little tiny, like hairless albino gorilla falls in, or not albino, but hairless gorilla, like just falls down from above. You're like, oh, wow, where did that come from? And you go over, you're like, oh, it's a poor little baby gorilla. He ain't got his hair yet. Man, I need to go help him, make sure that he's okay. So you run over to the poor little baby gorilla. You grab his arm or whatever it was, his leg, and you start to pull him back to where you hang out, because you just want to make sure, you want to try to get him some food and get him like fix his hair and stuff like that. And then in the midst of all that, you all of a sudden feel like a quick pinch and go to sleep forever.
Yeah.
Imagine that. It made me just
Tarzan moment.
It could have been a Tarzan.
If it was in the wild.
It could have been one of those moments, that shaped the course of a young man and a gorilla's future, which actually it really did, because his future ended pretty quickly. And then the young man obviously would be probably have that memory forever, and it'll just be probably the most terrifying thing that he's ever experienced.
I'm sure he's still dreaming about it.
Yeah. And then what that also did was, though, that brought about more idiots jumping into animal habitats at zoos, or maybe not more, but now people have videotaped it or posted on the internet, whatever, seeing those things. We see it more now. like was it there was like a lady who recently jumped into a lion habitat and tried to swim. Like, come on, she tried to swim to the lions or something like that. And I don't know if she made it or she died. I can't remember. I think she made it. I think they got her out of there. But
Yeah, I don't know.
you know, these animals are wild. This ain't Disney.
You know, it's funny. I was looking on I don't know where this came up at, maybe TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady, she just so happened to find this little kitten just out in the middle of, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
she was hiking or something. Little kitten, little black kitten. Took it home, looked like it was dying. She took it home, nursed it, started raising it. Next thing you know, it's turns out to be a freaking panther. And yeah, she just kept it.
Black
And
Panther.
I think it was, well, panthers really aren't black, but
Wow.
whatever this particular cat is, it's black.
Yeah, I know.
And it turned out to be super big.
Yeah.
Like really
Puma?
big.
Yeah.
Could have been a puma, maybe a puma.
Bruh.
Yeah, had a little collar on it.
This is
playing with the dog, kissing it in the mouth, like some of those people do.
Nah, forget that, bro. I say, man. I know that there's people who are quote unquote bleeding hearts for animals, and they'll see like little stray whatever on the side of the road and pick it up and just try to be its mommy or daddy or whatever. And for me, nah, I've never been that dude, and I probably won't ever be that dude because you don't know where that animal came from. Like in this case, you don't know what it's gonna turn out to be. Like imagine if that, imagine like there's a story where, we did a well check on this lady. Turns out that there's a live puma in her house that ate her.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I think that's happened to people with some pythons or boa constrictors.
Yeah.
Like they'll have that thing for so long and they think it's a nice reptile, it's a nice snake. Next thing you know, the snake got hungry and those little mice you were feeding it wasn't enough. It needed something bigger and juicier.
It needed a bigger rat.
Yeah. And it comes staring you face to face in your bed and chokes you out. MMA
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I can't do it, man. I've seen that with those animals. I've seen like, lions and tigers, not bears, cougars, leopards, all these people, man, like these literally are wild animals. They belong in the wild, in the savannah or whatever habitat they belong in.
There was a guy in New York, I think we may have talked about this years ago, where he had it was either a lion or a tiger in his little apartment. And you already know how big those New York apartments are.
That's like big as this room I'm in.
Yeah. So he had one up in his apartment. I think the thing might have been malnourished or something, but he kept it. And eventually animal rights or whoever it is who does this stuff. Activists kind of caught wind of it and they sent the whoever the animal people who scoop up animals and take it to the zoo or whatever. So same thing out here in Texas too, man. Somebody had a tiger in his freaking house, but I don't know. I think some exotic animals you can buy, but just because you buy it don't mean you know how to take care of it.
Exactly. And just because you buy it don't mean you should. Just because you can buy it don't mean you should buy it or should have it. That's what I tell my son all the time. He's a 15-year-old. He's trying to figure things out, obviously, at this age.
Oh yeah.
But just because you can buy whatever it is, don't mean you should buy whatever it is. Not everything is for you. Not everything should be for anybody. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, man, it's wild when you see that. Two things. First of all, my wife, one of my wife's cousins who lives here locally, her husband's family owns and he helps run one of those like animal encounter businesses. So this family, they own like all these wild animals like cougar,
a liger,
bobcat, lion, tiger, like exotic birds, what is it, like snakes, other reptiles, and they like have them all in specific habitats. Like, what's that dude name from the Tiger King? Like, Tiger King, they have them like in little
exotic.
mini habitats. Yeah, in all these little mini habitats, and they take them around to little, like, carnivals and rodeos, festivals, and like school things like that. They'll take them out and do those things, and I'm just like, bro, I don't even understand y'all. I think it's cool that there's people that have that ability, but they're literally trained to do that. Like, that's their job. They've been trained to handle them, and they just don't live with them in their house. They don't just like wake up and walk out and say hey, what's up, tiger? They don't do that. So that's one thing that's always been crazy to me. And then there's an Instagram account, a Facebook page called Turons of Yellowstone. Turon, so like more like moron, but tour at the beginning. Turons of Yellowstone.
Tour for a moron.
Yeah. And really what this Turons of Yellowstone is, it shows a lot of people who go to Yellowstone mainly, but these national parks, and they get way too close to the bison, the buffalo, the bears, foxes, elk, moose, deer, any of that. Or they will say, oh, look at this. It's like a complete 1 million degree hot pot spring in the ground. I'm going to go and walk on it. Which there's always the potential to what is it? There's always the potential to fall in. Yeah. So it's crazy. Turons of Yellowstone here. I'm gonna share it. in our stream so people can see this for themselves. Here we go. Let me click the button to make it properly shareable. There we go. So yeah, here we go. So this is one video where these people are way too close. They tell you to be a minimum 25 yards away from these bison. These bison who weigh like 1,000 pounds, and your piddly old like 185 soaking wet body is not going to do anything against these humongous animals when they come in, gore you or run towards you, whatever it is. They hit you with their antlers. Yeah, like you see these people right here. What are we doing? They're way too close. Way too close. Let me see if this guy, let's see here. If these deer go after this guy. Anyway, I've been following this page for a couple of months now, and it is the wildest. It is some wild stuff because you will see people get gored, or in a situation like this. This is Yellowstone National Park, right? So all of the ground under that park is volcanic. It can all explode. You could fall in a hole and you will die immediately. It will burn a body part off in seconds.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the hottest boiling water. But yeah, you see this. These idiots are out there standing on there where there's clear signs everywhere. Before you get in the park, they give you a little pamphlet that says, do not step off the path. They give you a pamphlet that says, stay away from,
the first thing they do,
every single stop. Yeah, that's the first thing they do. I saw a lady get off the path and just like stick her hand in there, and she's like, ooh, it's hot. It's like, yeah, it's freaking hot. It's like, 1,000 degrees. It's the first thing they do. And then, they want to cry foul if they get hurt. This area right here is beautiful. If you've ever seen an image of like something at Yellowstone, it's like a multicolored sort of like smoky lake. That's what this is. And you can walk around. There's several like areas, these little piers or whatever you can walk out on all around it. But if you get off, even though like the water is normally like about like 2 inches deep, across this whole lake thing, if you get off, there's a potential to step in a spot where you will disappear. immediately, forever. And it'll just be a few bubbles. And these fools are just out there walking around instead of staying on the boardwalk. Yeah, man.
Crazy.
So Tourons of Yellowstone, one of the funniest and most like mind-boggling accounts that I have
That's
ever
funny.
seen. They'll even show like the park rangers telling people, hey, stay back, stay back. And people are just still just like right in front of them trying to take selfies with the bear behind them. And I'm just like, you kidding me, bro?
You funny.
People stupid, man.
Funny.
Stay away from wild animals.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, people dumb.
I found that video of that lady who found a baby. Well, correct me. I correct myself. This thing corrected me. Baby panther. My bad. I take the L.
Oh, dang.
It
is a
let
panther.
Me see if I could. Yeah. Let me see if I can share that.
Share it up. Let's check it out. I don't.
Video share screen.
I don't understand these people.
Yeah, bro. It's one of those things.
Yeah. It is. It's an unfortunate thing. Oh yeah. Oh wait, my bad. Here, let me add it to the stream. Here we go.
So she finds herself.
Dang, that's like tiny.
Yeah, and she nursed it back to.
Bruh, she had it in a whole piece of foil.
Look at her. My baby little kitten.
Got the dog playing with him. Now that thing will grow up and be like, guess what I'm about to eat later.
Oh yeah, you gonna see.
It's very pretty. Nah, B. Nah, let's go on an adventure.
Watch.
Nope. Nope. That's I'm gonna eat that thing one day.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that animals like become friends.
Look, he's scared.
That dog knows what's up.
Look at her. Got 4. Don't stick your finger in his mouth.
Why?
Lady.
No. This lady crazy. That dog knows that he's done.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
See that last image right there? That's a cry for help. That's a cry for help right there. That image right there. He's like, help. They have those situations where somebody write down, please help. That's what that is. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. If anybody out there want to see what we're talking about, just log into the video on YouTube on our stream, and then you can see what we are reacting to.
That's great. And I think that is a perfect lead in. Looking at that dog's face is a cry for help, a call for help. I believe that is a perfect lead into some voicemails. So if you don't mind introducing the voicemails, I get the first one loaded up. We got a couple.
Yes. People 3853 BL AK PC or 385-325-2572. Give us a little call, a little ring-a-ling. Tell us what you think about people owning exotic pets. Did you have an exotic pet at one time? Did you ever want an exotic pet at one time? I remember people used to love freaking boa constrictors and pythons when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
No clue what happened to them. The actual snake itself, I wonder if it just died or they gave it away or what.
Yeah.
No one knows.
I don't know. One of my buddies that I went to college with, he played football at TCU. Anytime I went to his apartment, he had these pythons inside of a cage.
Terrarium. A cage.
He always had it in this big, in like this big cage or whatever. And he would say like he feeds it rats and all kinds of different things. And I'm just like, bro, why do you have this? I never like going to his apartment just for that reason. So he's still my homie to this day. But yeah, I don't. And every now and then he's like, yeah, man, I miss my pet. I can't remember what his name was, but it was some silly name like Fred or something like that.
Fred the snake.
It was fun. It was something like that. All right. Anyway, here we go. First voicemail. 3, 2, 1.
Long time no hear from me. What's up? Hashtag Blackout Podcast. This is your girl, Kayla, a.k.a. Memphis Diva 99. So I was wondering, y'all been kind of busy lately. So I was wondering if you got a chance to pick two characters out of a movie that you would like to have dinner with, who would it be? Who would the two be? And what would you guys order? My two characters, I say characters, would be John Wick and I forgot the equalizer name, but I would like to go to dinner with both of them. And I will probably have like steak and lobster and stuff with them. And we would talk and laugh about stuff. So who would the two characters you guys would like to go have dinner, and what would you eat?
Wow.
Okay, then.
That's a good
Okay.
question.
Good question, Kayla. Thank you for the voicemail.
Is this like in one single
who would
dinner,
you like
or
to
is it
say?
like two separate dinners?
I mean, I think it seems to me that it's having dinner with both of them at the same time. So you and your two favorite characters.
Two favorite. Sheesh. Wow.
Just what two characters? I already know. One.
I feel this character is
the other one.
It's gonna go. It's probably gonna get us in some trouble. But I'd probably go Tyler Durden from Fight Club.
Okay.
And wow. That's a good question. You probably thought on that for a minute. That was a really good question. So Tyler Durden.
That's a great question.
And
that's a good answer too.
Another favorite character. Ooh. I really did love Denzel Washington's character in Training Day, Alonzo. What was his name? What was his last name? I forgot his last name in that movie. But yeah,
I don't know.
His character and Tyler Durden, I just feel like that would be the most interesting conversational piece, conversational time.
Yeah,
those two. And I think something
that
might
would
happen.
Something might happen. What now?
In the restaurant, something crazy might happen.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say, when you have
Orlando Harris,
when you have somebody who is a part of a fight club, right? But they don't talk about it, but they talk about it. You know what I'm trying to say? And you have somebody that is an officer who is corrupt. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
very.
Lots of things can happen. Lots of different things can happen. And I think that would actually be pretty cool. That'd be two good characters. So those are good. So I'm trying to think. So my two characters would be. Can you see this? You see this guy?
Eddie. Prince Hakeem.
Prince Hakeem from Coming to America would be one.
Right.
Oh man, and then I would say Mickey O'Neill, aka Brad Pitt from the movie Snatch.
Yes. I was thinking about that too.
There's several characters from that movie I'd go to lunch with. But,
you probably wouldn't understand a single thing Mickey O'Neill would be saying.
Yeah, he's like, like dog. But man, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So
yeah,
I would definitely have both those guys. As far as food, what would I order? Let's see. So being with Prince Hakeem from McDowell's, right? And then this guy from Snatch. I don't know. What do you think you would order for dinner?
Oh yeah, dinner. Shucks. Ooh, man, I think we'd have to go to someplace seafood and just chill out over some seafood and some good drink. What drink? I don't know. I just feel some good southern fried seafood.
Yeah. Sound like anything is possible in that situation.
Anything.
So,
oh boy, don't let the Henny get in the systems.
Man. I saw this dude when we were in California. I was in California. My brother and I were driving through Hollywood. Saw this dude who was holding like a fifth of Henny in his hand, and he was dancing, and he was definitely like high on something, high and drunk at the same time. I was like, dang. Bro. But that dude, he was in his own world. But no, so let's see, for dinner, I would have to say, dang, let me think. I mean, you know what? Since Hakeem works at a burger place, and since we be going out with the other dude, who is basically from the trailer park, like anything like higher class would be good. So you know what? I would go to a steak spot too.
Straight to Del Frisco's.
Like Kayla. Straight to Del Frisco's. Steak and lobster, some of that mac and cheese, some of that cream spinach, a seafood platter that has like some lobster and shrimp on it, oysters. Yeah, we do the whole nine. Because you know what? It just be something good. Now, Prince Hakeem, obviously he's had the finest of everything. So I'd let him order everything, honestly. I'd be like, hey, Prince Hakeem, you probably had much more exotic and much better quality food than we have here at this Del Frisco's restaurant. But hey, I want you to lead us in ordering all the good stuff. Make sure that we don't miss anything. And then Mickey, I'd say, hey, buddy, how about this? I know you live in a trailer park. I want you to get what you want. Just pick what you want.
Yeah, right.
That's
funny.
Yeah.
Good. That's cool.
That was a good question, Kayla. I love it. Thank you very much. All right, here's the latest one. The second voicemail, the last voicemail, and this was from just a few days ago.
Hey, y'all. This is Memphis Steven with my why segment. Why are y'all robbing the barbecue joints in Memphis? Why y'all going to Tops Barbecue and rob? Why y'all going into Huey's and y'all don't like the way where you're sitting, and you beat up the waiter? Why these women in bathing suits going to the store and getting to it with this person that worked there and beat the person up? Why y'all doing that? I like to eat sometimes. And I want to go and enjoy myself, and I'm just trying to figure out why. I guess I'm just going to move to the country and just open my own little place up and own my own food. I think the laws, y'all, they letting people out of jail too soon because they give them a slap on the wrist because it's not really a crime, but it really is a crime. And I'm whispering because I didn't want everybody to hear my conversation because it ain't none of their business. And I will talk to y'all once I get my coffee. See, that's the problem. I ain't had no coffee. I will talk to y'all later. Yeah, I will. Okay. Bye-bye.
Kayla, that's crazy. I don't understand either, man. As far as like barbecue, that's a barbecue restaurants, this barbecue in general is a thing for people to sort of come together and eat and enjoy time together and get like just like some down home, wholesome food. You know what I'm trying to say? Right. It's not meant to have, any kind of negative connotation, but I'm seeing this, what Kayla's talking about in Memphis. So there's 2 men wanted in an armed robbery at Tops Barbecue in Memphis. You can see they went in, they took some money from the cash register, and then, they stealing all kinds of stuff, man. Like, I don't understand it. I don't, and not only barbecue. I mean, if anybody goes anywhere, like, to a dang gas station or whatever it is, going in to rob some people of some stuff. Like, I don't know. I know people trying to get a quick buck, but I mean, come on, man. Come on. Go get a job. I know that's like the thing that people always say, but like seriously.
I'm looking at the video right now, and it's like you walk in and you look at the camera, then you tighten up your hoodie
right at the
that
camera.
you got on. Look right at the camera. It's like, we got you, boss. Ain't nothing you can do about it now.
You see, homeboy took his. I think what happened was the guy did a natural reaction of like sort of lifting up your, like lifting up your hoodie, like when you go into a building or whatever, or just trying to see, he did the natural reaction, but then realized what he did as soon as he saw the camera. So it's crazy, man. I don't understand. I saw a video and I can't remember how old this video is because I think it's from maybe a year or so ago, back in Texas, in Houston, where a guy walked into a restaurant and just tried to rob the patrons, like a taqueria or something like that. Just walked in there with the gun saying, everybody get down, give me your money, anything you have in your pockets, and like took these people's money, and then the people from the cash register. As he's doing it, like these two guys were sitting at a booth, and as the guy's back was turned to him, you could see the one guy go down on his side. And then as the robber came by and took all the money and started walking toward the door, one of the guys who was behind him pulled and shot him like 9 times, killed him. And he kicked the gun away, and then he went down and picked up the gun again and shot again. I think he shot him initially like 7 or 8 times. Then initially, kicked the gun away once the dude was down, and picked it up and then shot him again. And obviously to make sure he was dusted. And then the shooter, who was a customer, the shooter, you could see in the video, looked at the gun that the robber had and realized it was a toy gun. It was a toy gun. And you could see he was just so frustrated that he shot this dude over a toy gun. He's so frustrated this dude came in and robbed everybody with the toy gun. And you could see him like throw the gun against the wall. And then apparently like the guy, the shooter, like, he told everybody to come get their money. And then he like took a sip of his drink and then walked out the door. and the police were looking for him. So I don't know if the guy ever came forward. But I'm like, is it worth it to walk into a situation like that, whether armed or not, whether armed with a real weapon or not? Is it worth it to put your life and other people's lives in danger? It's stupid.
Ain't worth it.
And that dude died over probably less than $100. You know what I'm trying to say? Holding a toy gun.
Sad thing is, it happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true. Yep. It's the unfortunate truth, that we're in. So, yeah. So, unfortunate truth for sure. Wow. Yes, indeed. Well, you know what, Kayla? Thank you for that voicemail. And yeah, if you guys want to leave voicemail, Jay told everybody how to do it earlier. I don't have to go back to that, but you know exactly where to find us, online or in the voicemails. Drop it like it's hot.
Definitely.
In the toilet and leave us a voicemail.
Woof.
Okay. So say what now?
I just say woof in the toilet.
Nothing. Okay. All right. My bad.
Got a little bit of delay.
So, yeah. Well, darn it, I'm not a fan of delays, but you know what? It's okay. So I'm gonna talk about this. So this is going to be a shift from what we've been talking about so far. And this is something that has been happening, I think, honestly, for the most part, the last couple years. And then now there's a spotlight placed on this effect, you want to call it. There's a spotlight placed on it because the effect has gone from a more regional and a more like a smaller stage to now the national stage in America. So this effect I'm talking about is the prime effect. If you don't know what the prime effect is, I'm talking about Coach Prime. If you don't know who Coach Prime is, I'm talking about Deion Primetime Sanders, who is a former, former amazing NFL and MLB, player. He's a football Hall of Famer, National Football League Hall of Famer. I believe College Football Hall of Famer. Probably every single level of football he ever played, he's a Hall of Famer at that point. Now he's the coach of University of Colorado. So to give context, Deion Sanders was a club level and then high school coach for a lot of kids for years after his playing career, and always seemed to be pretty uplifting. Always seemed to be very motivational. And obviously, he's one of the greatest of all times to play. So, as a parent to a kid who plays sports, you most likely want your kid to play for a guy like that because he's done it all. He's been a top recruit. He's been a top 10, draft pick, all this stuff. So he was a coach for years. His kids, all his kids played sports, and then most notably, like the latest two, he coached them in high school, Shiloh and Shador, right? Shiloh is a defensive player. He's like a defensive back. Shador is a quarterback. So Deion was offered and took the job at Jackson State University. Immediately everybody was excited, immediately turned the program around, and they called it the Prime Effect because kids started saying, "Hey, I want to go play with Coach Prime."
Coach Prime,
and he basically helped turn that program around. Jackson State University, for context, is an historically Black college and university, so they call it HBCU. And normally HBCUs do not have the amount of fans, they don't have the amount of alumni, they don't have the budget, they don't have the media coverage as like a Colorado University, even, which is not a great athletic school or football school, or like a USC or University of Texas or Miami, Alabama, any of these schools, right? It's just a small school that plays other smaller schools in that conference. But his first year, and he brought his son Shador to come play with him and be the quarterback there. And then his son Shiloh, who was at South Carolina University, or University of South Carolina, I guess, playing there, transferred to also play with his dad, right? Because they're trying to change the culture and everything else. Their first year, they made it to the championship game, and I believe they lost that game. But I think they only lost one game that whole season, or maybe two games that whole season, something like that. They made it to the league championship game. This is not like the regular national championship game. This is the HBCU championship, which is sort of separate. So then his second year there, not only did his team make it to the championship, they won, but in his second year, he recruited and pulled the top recruit in the nation of all of college football.
Right.
A guy named Travis Hunter, who's a two-way athlete, meaning he plays on offense and defense. He's a cornerback, but also a wide receiver, skill position player. So, and this guy had opportunity to go to Florida State, Miami, Alabama. You name the school, the big school, they came after this dude to try to get him. And they sent, they had him come on trips. But no, he went to little old Jackson State University, right? So that second year, like I said, they made it to the championship game and won. So during all of that time, Deion had opportunities to coach in other places, right? I think before his second season at Jackson State, he did go on interviews for different schools. One of the schools being my alma mater, TCU, And I remember saying at the time, Coach Prime would be great for our school because he would bring a lot of talent. He'd bring, like a whole different vibe, obviously. He'd bring a lot of moxie. He'd bring a lot of experience. And the amount of people that would come to gravitate to school, as far as fans, as far as players, any of that stuff would go up immensely, right? But there's fans and stuff like that who also are like, oh no, I don't want no Deion there, because if you know TCU, predominantly Anglo, as far as like the enrollment, it is what it is. Even though it's gotten better since I was there, but still, it's predominantly that. So a lot of the fans and a lot of alumni are just the same, and they didn't understand that. They didn't understand the effect that I just talked about, and they're like, "No, we don't want Deion. We don't like his thing." Even though they cheered him on as a Cowboy, by the way, because it's in Dallas Fort Worth area, but they're like, "No, we don't want that because he's too flashy. He's too this. He's too that." Context on that is our previous coach, Patterson, was not really a flashy guy, very humble, down to earth, things like that, which they thought opposite of Deion. But looking at Deion's track record through his high school coaching, through coaching kids when they were younger, through coaching at Jackson State, it always seems like he's coaching these kids to be, successful young men, and has like a lot of substance behind it. But what you see on the front is prime and flashy. And maybe that's a media thing, that's a marketing thing. I don't know what it is. A lot of things, right? But so TCU did not, he did not take the job at TCU. He stayed, at Jackson State another season, and the other schools that he interviewed as well. So then, after his second season getting the championship at Jackson State, University of Colorado hires him on, right? Immediately, ESPN is like, oh my gosh, Deion's at a big school. He's at a big time school. Mind you, Colorado only won one game the season before. Anyway, so he gets all this hoopla, all this hype. The whole offseason, all you hear is, boy, we can't wait for that first game. Deion's going to suck. Deion's going to be amazing. Like, everybody was saying everything, right? Deion went to Colorado. He did something that no other coach I've heard of has done. He basically walked in the door his first day after getting hired, talked to the current team. That was the 1-11 team, by the way, and said, hey, I want you to transfer because I got my own luggage, and it's Louis, and it's on the way. So basically, he was telling them he is bringing a lot of transfers and recruits in, and if you don't believe you want to be a part of that, or if you don't think you can play, if you don't think you can compete, if you're not if you're not confident in your ability to stay here and try to win a job, if you're going to be a loser, bounce and go transfer to another school. And 70 players, I believe, actually transferred out of the team. I think a team is like 100, 130 players, something like that total, with practice squads and stuff. So all these people left. He transferred in a ton of kids, right? And as this process is going on in the offseason, everybody's like, what's he going to do? How's it going to look? He had a whole new coaching staff, some from Jackson State and some from other places that he recruited. And the whole vibe changed from like, nobody ever really like paying attention to Colorado to now every day, like one of the news stories every day, or the first stories every day, they were talking about Colorado football. How's it going to look? Colorado started the season, of course, against my alma mater, TCU, beat us by 3 points. And it was the whole first game was a bunch of hoopla, bunch of media coverage, and of course they win by 3 points. As I've said before, we should have won the game by 14 points, but that's neither here nor there right now. Based on the way our team played, it is what it is, and we lost, and I own it. But Colorado won that game. Next week they beat Nebraska, and then the next week they beat Colorado State. The first game, Colorado or Deion gave motivation to his team of, nobody wants us here. They don't think we can do it. Can you do it? Can you disprove the doubters? They did for that first game. Second game, the Nebraska head coach said something, about Deion or some of the players. Deion used that as motivation. They end up coming back and beating Nebraska. But you could tell that there was chinks in the armor for each game. You could tell that they could lose. Third game, Colorado State head coach says, "Hey, when I'm talking to adults, my mama taught me when I talk to adults, I take my hat and sunglasses off and talk to them like a grown-up." Deion took that as motivation. And they should have lost that game, honestly, to Colorado State. But they ended up coming back and winning because Colorado State has no stones to go forward on 4th and 2 at the end of the game to try to win it. Whatever. This game that happened just yesterday, Deion and his Colorado Buffaloes, who were now ranked number 19 after starting unranked, played Oregon, University of Oregon, who was ranked number 10 at Oregon Stadium. Oregon destroyed them. I think it was 42-6 was the final score.
Damn.
So they got their first loss now. But leading up to all of this, people who never even been to Colorado in their life became a Colorado University fan. People who didn't even know, don't even know what mountain range is in Colorado became a Colorado Buffalo fan because of Deion, right? People who never really followed football became a Colorado fan because of what Deion was doing. And there's all this talk and there's all this hype. Everybody, sort of defending him and like, hey, let the black coach cook. All this stuff is like the vibes around it, and they're finally relevant, like all this stuff. So now that they lose, there's people saying, sort of like I did when we lost to them in the first game. Oh, it's one game, we can, they get it back together. We see, it's a wake-up call. We see things that we can work on, all this stuff. They're saying that about Colorado, right? And by the way, Oregon's coach and none of their players said anything to give a motivational, like bulletin board talking point. And so they lose the game, blah, 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 and get destroyed, which everybody, pretty much knew was going to happen when they start playing like real big time contenders. So a lot of the comments, a lot of the replies, because I saw ESPN posted a post today, and it was a picture of the Oregon quarterback. Oregon, a lot of the fans had shirts on that said, "It's not personal, it's just business." Or, we're not talking, we're playing. Actually, the Oregon coach, as a part of his motivational speech before the game, said they're playing or they're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. That was hilarious. Because it seemed to be true. It seemed to be like a big media machine up to that point. A lot of stuff. And they came out and destroyed them. So the image that ESPN posted today was a repost from Oregon, I think Twitter or something like that, showing the Oregon quarterback with his Colorado Louis bags and luggage. Let's see here. Oregon football X post. Let's see if I can find this image and I'll show it to you. But they had a lot of people replying to the post on ESPN and stuff like that, because ESPN honestly was the main website to bring this information to the forefront and really try to push this prime in front of everybody's face. Right.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. So among all of the people, really following Deion throughout this and really mainly supporting him were black people, which makes sense, right? It makes sense. We like that.
Yeah.
But my question is this. For the prime effect, and really any effect outside of this, but like the prime effect is the most, prevalent, because that's what I'm thinking of in this situation is as black people, and this may be slightly controversial, maybe not, whatever it is. But
don't get canceled.
I'm gonna try not to get canceled. Are we so happy, or what? No. How do I say it? Are we? Do we always want? Okay. Do we want a savior? Right? Do we want somebody to come and and like basically save us? Be like a black savior. Be like a black, whatever it is. Just like somebody to be the leader of us. You know what I'm trying to say?
Of black folks.
And Deion is like the latest. What do you want to call it? Deion is the latest, example of that. But like somebody that we all want to and have to and need to get behind, and that we throw all of our support behind him and throw all of our, what do you call it? Throw all of our, I guess just support and emotion behind him, and then to be sort of let down and whatever it is. So do we have to have that? It seems like in a lot of cases, depending on the situation or the news story, we have to have it. Maybe it's just people.
Question.
I don't
know. I think there's somebody that we may always be trying to look for to be kind of like that person that we, like you said, stand behind. It seems like it's every generation we got something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's on a political front or, some type of social front, I think there's always somebody like that. As far as like Deion is concerned, I don't know, man. That's a tough question. If we're looking to him to be that particular person, while he's doing, I did see a video this morning of him, and I forgot which game it was, but he was talking to his wide receiver, and he said something to the fact like, just trying, because the wide receiver kept dropping passes the whole game. And he gave him a little motivational speech because I guess the wide receiver's dad is in jail and prison. And he inspired that kid to go out, catch that final pass, and win the game for the team. Now, if he could be something like a motivational person that could uplift people to strive to do better, then I say we should stand behind him, especially for our youth. If he could inspire our youth to do better. So yeah, I mean, that's a tough question because not every black person is gonna view this as the same thing. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I get it, man. I do understand the the want and need to support. Like I get that, right?
Yeah.
It sometimes to me, it seems like we go too hard, too soon. I think people go too hard, too soon. Oh, here we go. Is this it? Let's see here. I can go on ESPN's page because that's where I'll find it. Because that's how I saw it earlier this morning. Let's see. Pause. Don't you start playing. I'm gonna show it there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes we go too hard. That sometimes it should be a wait and see mentality. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know. But come on, somebody show me this. Channels. Bruh, why isn't it showing? ESPN. Well, you know what? I guess YouTube let me down. Anyway, I'll find the image eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah. It just seemed like in a lot of situations, and this is probably just people in general, maybe not just black people, obviously, but we are, wanting something to get behind so bad that we blindly support it before there's any real substance to it. And like you said,
Right.
I've seen some images of him, with his hand around some of the players, talking to them, getting up close and personal, with them and stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely, I definitely get that, and it completely makes sense. As a coach, as a leader of men, in this scenario, you do what you got to do to really, motivate these kids. Motivate these kids and get them to, I don't know, get them to just, go with whatever, what do you call it? Like go with whatever, message that you have and the direction of the team. Like that completely makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I know the prime effect is real though. I know that.
Yeah. The prime effect, man. Yeah.
You hear this? Did you hear the thing just playing? No. Yeah. Sorry.
No worries. No worries.
Oh, you?
That's interesting.
Okay. I'll have to find the image and send it because I can't find it right now. And YouTube's taking forever, so I'm not gonna worry about it. But I'll say this, I think the Colorado program is headed in a positive direction with Deion there. You have people coming out the woodwork to like sell out games and stuff like that. As a TCU fan and a team that lost to them, honestly, I hope they make a bowl game this year, right?
Right.
I hope they get that opportunity because that will make our loss look better. The more they win. While they are eventually going to be a rival, they'll eventually be, a team that we have to play against in our conference next year. I don't really want them to win games because I don't like my rivals winning. I still want them to actually, perform well enough that they get to a bowl game and what's the word? It makes us not look so bad. So anyway, that's all I got. That's the best thing I have. So
yeah, I like I told you before the show, I live a pretty vanilla life nowadays. It's just rinse and repeat every day. Wake up the kids, take them to school, come to work, pick up the kids, cook dinner, rinse and repeat, So I don't keep up with news much. Not much. Every once in a while something will pop up and I'll be like, ooh. And then most of the time I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
But this past week I've just been
Wait, you'll say ooh and then you'll say eh.
Yeah, it's like, eh.
That's funny.
Yeah, so
whatever.
Yeah, man. It's weird. I've been going down this rabbit hole of old kind of like nostalgic moments from like college. Like I'll hear I found a whole bunch of my music and stuff from way back when in the day, and it just brought me down this memory lane. That's what they say, memory lane. Back in college and early 20s, things like that. So, just like got a bunch of projects, exploring a bunch of things nowadays. I got projects due for you that I got to do, and a lot of projects due for myself that I need to finish doing. So, ain't really much of anything going on around here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is what, it sort of is what it is in some situations. I just sent you that image, by the way, because I found it finally. But I don't know, man. I seem to have, I can understand, where you're coming from as far as like not having time to do some of the other stuff that you would do or, go on social media or whatever it is. Been so busy just with my regular 9 to 5 that, that's also intersecting with my business that, at this point I'm trying to maintain what I have and inventory and orders and stuff that I have. but then also trying to, work with you, and then, printers and bottlers and other things like that to bring out some new products eventually. And then all that is intersecting with my family time, and it's one of those things when you have like little kids, it's like family time all the time. Bam, 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 doing stuff all the time.
Yeah.
As your kids get older and they get into, activities, extracurricular activities, whatever it is, it's sort of like that. Like you're going back and forth trying to do that whole thing on top of school, on top of everything else, and you get stuck doing that. And so you sort of lose some of the stuff that you loved doing before you had kids, or before you were married, whatever it is. You sort of lose a lot of that stuff because obviously your focus shifts, to the most important things, which is the kids. And then, at some point in time, you're like, hey, I need to work on some stuff for me too,
Yeah.
And it's hard to mix all that in at the same time, and then maintain a healthy relationship with your wife and kids, and then, do well at your job, which at some point in time, you're like, dude, I just want to leave this job to do what I want to do. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's a crazy mix.
Yeah, it's wild, man, and it's crazy because I was looking on LinkedIn, and one of my college buddies, he started this new AI firm, kind of like a firm, or he's part of this new AI type business where they do responsible AI. I should put it like that. And he posted up this job posting for something that I'm qualified for. And I was like, dang, should I apply for this? Then, it's like get paid like twice as much as I do now. And I'm like, oh man,
you work remote?
Should I do it? Work remote, and it's like, or am I just comfortable where I'm at? It's like, I'm not comfortable, but then you get to that point where it's like, do I want to start over from scratch again? And will I like it? Will I not like it? Will I like the people I'm working with? You never know. It's always a gamble in that type of situation. So I don't know. I passed it up.
Yeah.
Somebody got it, but it's whatever. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. It's a definite gamble. It's a definitely gamble going to a startup situation. I think really like what the main thing would be is leave on good enough terms if you leave, that if you see that wherever you're going, wherever you went to is not what you thought it was, you do have an opportunity to go back, or you haven't burned those bridges. So if there's another opportunity that those bridges have connections to, you can still, use those bridges to get you to those places. Yeah. Because, while I got unceremoniously let go from my job that I had when we first moved here, there's a lot of connections that I built there that I still, talk to, that may still work there. They may work in other industries, but I still talk to them and lean on them, or they reach out to me, whatever it is. And that was me leaving on good enough terms. Now the people who run the company, management, probably not their fan. They're probably not a fan of theirs. And I won't talk to them, at all. But, others that I did make good connections with, that were bosses or coworkers, whatever it is, to whatever extent, I'll keep those bridges open just in case I need to shift and go do something else. So I think that might be the play, man. If you find something like that, because if you find something like that that's paying you more than you make right now, and it's something that you will enjoy doing, you gotta love it. You know, it gotta be something that you love. And we've talked about this before. So
Definitely. Well, I don't know. We'll see where the future brings. I'm just that type of guy. I don't feel like working until I'm 65 to retire. So that's my only thing. I want to be able to enjoy my whatever years I have left, So that's my thing.
Understand that. Yeah, I get it. It makes sense. I think the good thing about this day and age that we're in right now, it's not like when our parents were, uh, you know, in their younger working years or working years, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Um, this day, last week, and the Uber driver, one of the Uber drivers I had,
Mhm.
he's like a 56-year-old guy. He had like a construction business or like a contracting business, something like that. And his other job, he got laid off from, and that's sort of one of the reasons why he started doing Uber. Well, he's like, you know what, man? A friend and I are starting our own. They're starting their own like nonprofit, for battered
Okay.
women, right? And I was like, that's cool. He's like, I'm 56 years old. Like, there's not really a reason I should be starting this right now, but I have the energy to do it. It's something I'm passionate about. And you know what? In this day and age, who cares? Because you could start at any time.
Yeah,
Something
true.
that something that you're passionate about, and find some success in it. And your level of success might be different from my level of success, might be different from somebody else. But if it's something that you are doing that you love, it can be that will be your level of success, right?
Right.
So it don't matter how old you are. If you find something you love, and hopefully you find it before you're too old, but you're never really too old in some situations. So.
It's gonna be funny. I'm gonna be like 70 years old, and then it'll just click. It's like, oh, I love doing this. Let me start a business.
Yeah.
Then it's
It can happen. It can happen.
Yeah, never know. You never know. Try to get these kids, man, on the ball right now. Get them doing things.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I told you about that little it's a 14-year-old kid. You and your son have seen the Lego not Lego, latest Spider-Verse movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so
which I've only
I don't know
watched
if
half of it so far.
Oh, you only watched well, there's a segment in there that's all done.
Yeah, I watched half on the plane to Los Angeles, and I didn't see the other half on the way back. I'm sorry.
Oh man. But there's a scene in there where it's a Lego scene, and a little 14-year-old kid actually animated that. The company hired him to do it because when the initial trailer dropped, he took like a month out of his time and he redid that trailer all in Lego in a 3D Lego space. And they were so impressed by it because it was like shot for shot, and it just like got such traction that they hired him to do that particular portion. So like you said, it's never too late, or it's never too early to start getting your love for things going. And I try to push that on. I don't know if I should say push it on my kids. I try to guide them to find something they're passionate about, to so they won't ever join the workforce and just completely hate it. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting when I saw that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing to be able to do that. Yeah, man. That's pretty dope that that they hired that kid for that. I know that that's just one of those, like, once in a lifetime type of opportunities where everything just sort of falls in place and you happen to be right there, which is great. Yeah. I don't know, man. That's cool for them, and hopefully your kids, will have an opportunity to, to find something like that, find some success doing that, or whatever they love. So.
Yep. Hope so. Just need to keep these grades up.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Oh man, I tell you what. Yeah, that's a whole different episode I could talk about right there. There's a whole different episode I could talk right there, but I'm not going to talk about it. Anyway, that's all I got for the day. Do you have anything?
Negative, sir. That's it.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
go ahead
Well,
and tell the people
people,
how to find us.
hashtag Blackout Pod is where you can find us on all your social media apps and thingamajigs and all that other stuff. And find us on your streaming apps where you can stream stuff. Join us Sunday mornings to chime in on the show. Send us some questions. 385-3BLAKPC or 385-325-2572. Hashtag blackoutpod@gmail.com is where you could send us a little email if you don't like talking, on the phone. And then after you do all that stuff, hit up hooksrub.com. Get yourself some hooks. Thanksgiving is going to be here right before you know it. And you don't want to go into Thanksgiving with some unseasoned turkey, some unseasoned food. Then get yourself some hooks, and then there'll be some great stocking stuffers for Christmas.
Exactly.
Gonna be
right.
Some special products coming out. Some tasty products that'll be right on time for Christmas holiday season. And it's just gonna zest up and spice up and just improve everything you put in your mouth.
Sauce it up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
sauce up everything you put in your mouth.
And let me just say this. So shout out to a company in Fort Worth called Heifer, Hog, and Hen. Right? What is Heifer, Hog, and Hen? Outside of being a great name, it is a company like a farm there that like does sustainably raised meat and eggs. They have chicken, beef, lamb, and pork that they raise and they sell it at their location in Fort Worth, but also they sell it online where you can have a box of meat and whatnot shipped out to you on a subscription basis or just a one-time use thing. And Heifer, Hog, and Hen, they have decided to bring hooks, rubs, and spices into their lineup. So it's going to be available on their website here soon. Also, if you buy a box of meat, then you get a bottle of hooks rub to go with it. So, hey, you know what? Get your meat and your flavor all in the same box. So I haven't got my box yet, but I plan on having an order out pretty soon. Yeah. I plan on having it out pretty soon. So, shout out to them. Also, for me, this is a history. Was that?
Oh, no, just reading. Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say this. So this for me is one of the most important days in the history of time, because today would have been the 46th, I believe, anniversary of my parents getting married. So 46 years ago today, my dad, Jimmy, my mom, Mary, walked the aisle, tied the knot. And then about 13 months, almost 13 months to the day later, I showed up. So, great time in history for me. Happy anniversary to, my mom. Happy heavenly anniversary to my dad. And I guess I got 2 siblings and, obviously some kids after that as well. And nephew as well. So
that's funny.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, but good thing. So that's all I got. Shout out to them. We'll see y'all again next week. And on that note, I'm blacking out.
Peace out, people.